Hello, Gemini. Tonight I want you to pause, just for a single breath, and listen. There are moments in life when we don't even realize that everything around us is beginning to shift quietly, yet powerfully, like an invisible wave rising beneath the calm surface. Can you feel it? Something is changing. It's not random, and it's not caused by anyone else. It's the universe knocking softly, yet enough to make your heart tremble. And if you pay close attention, you'll start to notice the signs. That sacred energy whispering to you, the time has come. We're about to go deeper into that feeling, not to predict the future, but to understand why these changes are unfolding right now, in your life. Because sometimes, what you think is a beginning is actually the universe's gentle warning, a quiet message meant only for you, the awakening soul of Gemini. Gemini. In these recent nights, maybe you felt something strange stirring inside. Not fear exactly, but an intuition, quiet, steady, gently knocking at the door of your heart. A subtle vibration, invisible yet certain. It doesn't come to worry you, but to awaken you. The universe is sending you a signal that movement has already begun, whether you're ready or not. Sometimes, before a blessing arrives, life shakes you hard. A door you thought was safe suddenly closes. A face you trusted begins to look unfamiliar. The one you believed would protect you turns out to be the very person sent to teach you about boundaries. But Gemini, this is not punishment. It's how the universe clears the space around you so new energy can finally enter. The first thing that appears before luck is not money, it's truth. Truth always arrives like a clean cut, sharp, but pure. It strips away illusion, blind faith, and the attachments born from fear of losing. And when every mask falls away, you start to see real light, the light within yourself. Every blessing needs a clean ground to grow. Money, opportunity, even miracles cannot take root in a restless heart filled with confusion and doubt. So, if lately you've seen someone's true nature revealed, or a relationship begin to shift, don't panic. That's a sacred warning. It's saying your next chapter is beginning one where you no longer live in the blur between love and fear, between faith and uncertainty. I've seen many Geminis walk through this exact moment. They thought they were losing everything, but what they were really losing was the cage. And once freed, they began to shine in ways they never imagined. Maybe the same thing is happening within you, a peeling away of the soul, where what's false simply falls, leaving only what's pure, steady, and true. If someone betrays you just as your life begins to rise, remember they simply don't match the frequency of your next season. They were only the bridge to bring you to the doorway of your own growth. And when their role ends, they leave. It's that simple. No anger is needed, because their exit is what creates the space for what's meant to arrive. Now, take a deep breath. Let your heart soften. See the truth not through the eyes of someone wounded, but through the calm of someone being healed. Truth never comes to destroy you, it comes to cleanse you. It doesn't make you lose faith, it helps you place it where it truly belongs. If there's still an old wound inside your heart, don't hide it anymore. Write about it, speak it. Turn the pain into light, because when you share, you might just help someone else find their way home. Every soul that's been betrayed carries the same quiet wish to be seen, to be understood, to be forgiven. Maybe tonight, your story will be the small candle guiding another lost heart through the dark. The universe always whispers before it gives. It speaks through strange dreams, perfect coincidences, and fleeting instincts. If you can feel that movement around you, don't ignore it. Listen, sometimes what feels like loss is just a gift wrapped in the paper of challenge. Let your heart be still, Gemini, like the surface of a lake after the rain. Only when the water is calm can it reflect the sky. And just like that, only when your spirit is quiet will you recognize the miracle drawing near. Don't fear the changes ahead. They're not coming to drown you. They're coming to lift you higher. Before prosperity touches you, the universe always whispers first. Open your heart, because what you're hearing now isn't just a story, it's a calling. A gentle pull into a deeper layer of life, where signs begin to appear, soft as breath, yet strong enough to lead you toward the miracle that's already waiting. Sometimes, the greatest things in life arrive quietly. No noise, no fireworks. Just a series of small coincidences that make you stop and look twice, a number repeating on a receipt, an old song playing right when you're thinking of someone, a passing conversation in a cafe that makes your heart tremble for reasons you can't explain. They seem random, but they're not. They are the secret language of the universe. Gemini, you were born under the sign of the twins, a soul that lives between two worlds, logic and intuition. Your mind is sharp, analytical, always searching for patterns, but lately, there's something deeper moving beneath your thoughts. A faint instinct, impossible to name, yet so clear you can't ignore it. That's not imagination, that's guidance. The universe never speaks in words. It whispers through what seems like coincidence through a stranger's glance, a breeze that makes you turn around without knowing why. When your mind is busy, you won't hear it. But when your heart is still, those signs become as clear as the sound of water flowing at night. I remember a time like that myself, when everyone around me smiled and congratulated me. Yet deep inside, I felt a hollow space I couldn't explain. Later, I understood not every smile comes from joy. Some come from fear. Fear that you might change. Fear that your light might rise and leave them behind. Realizing that didn't make me bitter, it made me awake. Because intuition always knows what eyes can't see, and truth, even silent, always finds a way to be heard. So, Gemini, if you've been noticing patterns, a person appearing and disappearing, an opportunity that stalls, a dream that keeps returning night after night, don't brush it off. Those are not coincidences. They're pieces of a map the universe is drawing, line by line, guiding you toward what you need to see. These signs aren't meant to scare you. They're reminders that you're not alone. Every number, every whisper, every strange feeling, all messages from a higher light, asking you to wake up. Modern life teaches us to rush, to measure, to compare. But these signs only speak when we stop, when we move slowly enough to hear the voice beneath the noise. Sometimes, you'll notice strange things. Your phone lights up with no reason. A friend you haven't heard from in years sends a message, or a small mistake suddenly changes your direction. Nothing happens without meaning. Invisible currents are arranging your steps not to test you but to prepare you for something greater. Ask yourself, what has life been trying to tell you lately? A warning in a dream? A repeating feeling when you think of someone? A quiet belief that a new chapter is near? These are not random. They're the dim lights that guide the soul along its path. And sometimes, the sign isn't an image. It's a feeling, a soft unease, a quiet excitement, or that strange awareness that you're being watched not by eyes but by something higher. Trust that feeling. Your soul always knows before your mind catches up. And if you're brave enough to listen, you'll see everything around you rearranging to bring you exactly where you belong. When you notice these signs, don't try to analyze them. Just be grateful. Because gratitude is how you say yes to the universe's flow. It makes you lighter, freer, and your energy begins to move in a new rhythm. The frequency of trust, the frequency of miracles. So open your heart, Gemini. What you thought was random is really an invitation. An invitation to step into a deeper layer of awareness where you stop searching for answers in the world and finally realize they've been inside you all along. And once you begin to hear the truth hidden in each sign, life stops feeling like a chain of random events. Everything becomes a pattern, a melody. And yes, you are the one keeping the rhythm. Now, close your eyes, take a deep breath. Let your mind drift toward the quietest place within. There, what was once unclear begins to show itself. And you'll see between the light and shadow woven around you, a new energy is awakening. a current preparing to collide, not to destroy, but to transform everything it touches. Sometimes, what we call a breakdown is really just the meeting of two opposing forces of energy. One is you expanding, rising, learning to receive your own light. The other is what no longer matches your frequency, old patterns, old people, old versions of life that can't breathe where you're going. When these currents collide, friction is inevitable. But Gemini, don't fear the noise. It's not destruction. It's confirmation that you are, in fact, transforming. When your energy expands, everything that no longer fits begins to reveal itself. Someone who once felt close may suddenly grow distant. A friend you trusted might say something that stings. A connection once full of warmth turns cold, silent, unrecognizable. You may wonder, what did I do wrong? But the truth is, nothing. Your frequency has changed, and what cannot rise with you must dissolve. Money, opportunity, recognition, they're only mirrors. They don't create conflict, they reflect it. When your light grows brighter, others are forced to see their own shadows, and not everyone is ready to face what they find there. Jealousy, fear, insecurity, they surface not because you failed, but because they are still learning to hold the vibration you now carry. Gemini, you are the sign of duality, intellect and spirit, logic and soul. You understand that every bond holds both light and shadow. But right now, the universe is teaching you something deeper, to see clearly without resentment, to recognize betrayal not as a wound but as purification. It's the universe's way of removing what's false, so that what's real can finally stay. And even when you know this truth, some nights still ache, because how could it not? How could it not hurt when the one who once laughed beside you turns away the moment you begin to shine? But remember, this pain isn't punishment, it's your soul learning discernment. Like wings, it must shed weight before it can fly higher. Every rise has its breaking point, a sacred middle space between loyalty and release, between light and shadow. And eventually, you'll see that losing someone is not failure, it's freedom. Because if you carry those who cannot breathe at your new altitude, you'll only clip your own wings to keep them comfortable. Not everyone who leaves is a villain. Some are simply complete. Their role in your story has been fulfilled. They were never your destination, they were your lesson. And when you see them through gratitude instead of bitterness, your heart becomes lighter. Your energy begins to flow again. Think back, has there ever been a time when someone walked away, right before your life opened into something extraordinary? That's not coincidence. That's the law of energy. The old must move out, so the new can move in. Life never takes without giving back something greater. So when a relationship fades, don't stare at the empty space it leaves. Look toward the light behind it. You are being rearranged, refined, prepared for the flow of abundance and peace that's waiting for you. Trust that every clash has purpose. When conflict rises, when fatigue seeps into your heart, that's not chaos, it's calibration. The universe is tuning your rhythm to match the world's new tempo. You're not falling out of sync. You're finding the right frequency. In the midst of endings, keep your silence as a sacred act. Don't rush to react, just observe. Because in that stillness, your soul begins to hear its own voice, the sound of rebirth calling from within. Let your heart soften, not weaken. Because only what's soft can bend through the turns of life without breaking. See change not through fear, but through wisdom, knowing that light always appears the moment darkness steps back. And then, in that quiet space, you'll feel it, something small yet powerful blooming inside you. A new faith, a strength you didn't know you had, a tenderness you thought was lost forever. When the old layers fall away, the soul begins to rebuild its foundation from within. Nothing truly collapsed. It's only being rebuilt with light, with clarity, and with a truth strong enough to carry you into what comes next. In chaos, the most precious thing isn't an answer, it's the ability to listen. The kind of listening that comes from a quiet place deep within, a place logic can't reach, where only breath and heartbeat remain. Gemini, you've tried to explain everything: why they changed, why you were hurt, why a friendship, a love, or a dream full of hope suddenly fell silent. But some things can't be analyzed. They can only be felt. And the moment you stop trying to understand, that's when true understanding begins. Life doesn't always need reason. Sometimes, the only thing you need is faith. Faith in that small, steady voice inside your chest that still whispers, even when the world outside grows too loud. That voice knows who's sincere, and who's only staying until they get what they want. It knows when it's time to move forward and when it's time to let go. But you, my Gemini, may have forgotten how to hear it, because you've been too busy proving your worth, your strength, your right to be loved. The real lesson here isn't about forgiving others, it's about returning to trust yourself. To believe that even when someone doesn't choose you, you are still chosen by the divine. To know that even when something breaks, your soul remains whole. To realize that loss is just life's way of teaching you what truly matters. You may have spent long nights asking, "Where did I go wrong?" But eventually, you'll understand sometimes the only thing you need to do is step back, not to react but to observe, because somewhere in the ruins, something new is being built: your self-trust. When you choose peace over proving, grace begins to flow in. When you forgive without reopening old doors, your energy clears. You stop living to please and start living to honor the rhythm of your own heart. And that, Gemini, is the freedom your soul has always been seeking. Once you accept that answers don't come from the outside, you begin to hear the real voice within, soft as breath, yet stronger than any logic. It says, "I know you're tired, but you're not lost. You're simply being guided to a new path." The world teaches you that power means control, but the soul teaches you that true power is surrender. When you stop trying to make everything perfect, you'll see the universe begin to perfect things for you. Like water, only when it stops resisting does it find its natural course. This lesson isn't light, but it's sacred. It teaches that peace doesn't come when everything outside is calm, but when your inner waves finally rest. It teaches that your worth isn't measured by anyone's gaze, but by how gently you hold yourself when no one's watching. And most of all, it teaches that love, real love, isn't about holding on. It's about understanding that every soul has its own path, and sometimes that path must move away from you to become whole. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself sitting in a quiet forest. The morning light filters through the trees, touching your hands. You realize that even with no one beside you, you still feel warm. That warmth is love, not from outside, but from acceptance within. And when you touch that feeling, you've learned the deepest lesson of all: to trust yourself and the sacred order of life. From here, everything begins to shift. What once frightened you becomes a memory. You move lighter, see softer, and understand that every collapse was simply the birthplace of light. And when you finally lay down the burdens that no longer belong to you, you'll notice something miraculous, as if an unseen hand is guiding you, step by step, toward a new road. A path you've never seen, yet feels like one your soul has always known. And there, you'll realize it's in the very moment you dare to let go, that the universe begins to protect you in its own beautiful way. Sometimes, what shatters isn't the end, it's the universe quietly rearranging your pieces on a much larger board. Gemini, divine protection doesn't always appear with white wings or angelic choirs. More often, it comes disguised as a sudden collapse, a plan that fails overnight, a bond that fractures without warning, a source of income or stability that simply disappears. And there you are, standing in the middle of the storm, wondering why you've been pushed out of the place that once felt safe. But if you stay patient enough not to fight it, and still enough to watch, you'll realize this isn't rejection, it's redirection. Everything is being moved to protect you from something you can't yet see. There are places you're not meant to remain, not because you're unworthy, but because your soul has outgrown them. Divine protection often looks like loneliness. You find yourself walking alone down a road no one seems to understand, losing touch with the people who once felt like home. Yet in that emptiness, you start to hear a voice within, gentle but certain, whispering, "You're not being abandoned, you're being separated to be saved." And then, in the quietest moments, life surprises you. A door opens out of nowhere. A friend you haven't spoken to in years sends a message at the perfect time. An opportunity appears from a direction you never imagined. A small joy breaks through like light between clouds. None of this is random. They're signs, reminders that you are protected, guided, and still moving in the right direction. Gemini, blessings don't always arrive as rewards, sometimes they come as what's taken away. Loss is a sacred language the universe uses to move you out of danger your soul cannot yet perceive. Because if you stayed too long where you are, it wouldn't be your reputation or your finances that suffered, it would be your light. So when something or someone leaves suddenly, try saying this instead of, "Why me?" Say, "What might this be protecting me from?" That shift, simple but profound, will soften your heart, because you'll start to see the event not through fear, but through gratitude. Maybe today you lost a door, but maybe that door led to a room about to fall apart. There's a beautiful image I once heard. Angels don't pull you out of the storm, they teach you how to stand in the rain. Every time you refuse to collapse, they win a quiet battle on your behalf. And when you stay calm long enough, you'll notice that storms no longer come to destroy you, they come to cleanse you. Gemini, how many storms have you already survived? Each time you thought you were breaking, you came out brighter, clearer, deeper. Maybe the universe is using these cracks to let you finally see yourself in true light, stripped of illusion, untangled from attachments, left only with your raw, powerful, authentic soul. Divine protection is never loud. It's the invisible hand that stops you just before a wrong turn. It's the delay that frustrates you today but saves you tomorrow. It's the sudden instinct to change direction. And in doing so, you unknowingly avoid a storm meant to test you. So if someone has recently left, or something has come to an unexpected stop, and look at it through new eyes. Maybe that's your blessing in disguise. Maybe you've just been spared from a deeper wound you didn't even know was waiting. Trust that every empty space will soon be filled with light, and when your faith deepens, you'll begin to feel it, a quiet new current moving all around you. Soft but strong, silent but undeniable. That's the signal, a deeper understanding unfolding within you. Because on the other side of protection always comes illumination. When you start giving thanks even for what you've lost, life begins to reveal what it was really trying to teach you all along, the hidden meaning behind every shift, every ending, every silence. And in that moment, when you finally see that everything had purpose, you step into a new kind of light, where every loss becomes the universe's gentle message written just for you. Everything you've been through may have felt like chaos, money coming and going, people staying then leaving, faith breaking and being stitched back together by a fragile thread of light. But Gemini, once the dust settles, you begin to see something clearly. Every event, no matter how painful, speaks the same language. It doesn't come to punish you, it comes to guide you. And beneath all those layers of emotion, anger, loss, regret, lies a deeper meaning, a sacred design leading your soul toward awakening. Betrayal and money. They are twin teachers, two sides of the same coin. One reveals where your trust has leaked, where you place too much faith in others. The other teaches you to call your power back, to hold your energy in your own hands. Two seemingly opposite lessons, yet both point to one truth. The real miracle isn't in how much you receive, but in how steady your heart remains, both in gain and in loss. Money is only a test. It arrives to see if you're ready to live on a higher frequency. Because prosperity isn't a prize, It's a natural result of alignment with gratitude, with trust, with generosity. The moment you stop fearing whether you deserve it, your energy opens and life begins to flow toward you. Sometimes, you think the universe is delaying your gift, but in truth, it's waiting for you to stop trembling, waiting for you to be strong enough to receive without losing yourself, waiting for you to understand that wealth without awareness is only an empty shell. The universe never withholds, it simply protects you from receiving too early what you're not yet ready to keep. When you look back, Gemini, you'll see that your greatest pain carried your greatest blessings. If no one had hurt you, you would never have learned the boundaries of your own trust. If no opportunity had slipped away, you wouldn't have found your true identity. If you'd never felt abandoned, you might never have realized that you are your own safest home. Everything that happened was written by the hand of destiny without a single mistake. In that deeper layer of meaning lies the purest truth. The real miracle isn't gaining more, it's no longer being afraid to lose. Because only when you stop fearing loss are you truly free to receive. Think back to the days when everything seemed to fall apart. You didn't know it then, but something old was dying, the version of you that needed the world's approval to feel whole. And something new was being born, the one who gives thanks even without having, who believes even before seeing, who loves even when things are still imperfect. Now you understand that wealth isn't measured by numbers, it's measured by peace. Someone may own the world and still be poor if their heart is restless. But you, Gemini, if each morning you wake with clarity, gratitude, and the quiet energy of purpose, you are already the richest soul in the room. That's the kind of abundance no one can ever take from you. And that's the miracle you've been searching for. As you move through this chapter, don't remember only the pain. Remember the strength in your rise. Remember the moment you forgave without needing an apology. Remember the peace you felt when you chose love, even with a scarred heart. Those are the signs that your soul has passed one of life's hardest tests, and now you're ready for the next stage, where things no longer come to test you, but to align with you. Gemini, finish this sentence. My miracle begins when maybe it's when you forgive, maybe it's when you smile again, maybe it's when you stop searching for answers outside yourself. Whatever your words are, let them become your soul's affirmation, a quiet promise that you'll never forget the light that guided you through the dark. Because when you finally see the hidden meaning in it all, you'll realize you don't need to control life anymore, you just need to trust it. And in that exact moment when every piece, loss, money, love, faith fits together into a perfect mosaic, something beautiful awakens within you. Soft as breath, yet radiant as the first light of dawn. Gemini, this is the sacred moment the universe has been preparing for you to cross. You are no longer the person you once were, the one who tried to explain, to prove, to fear being misunderstood. That version of you has fulfilled its purpose. Now, before the mirror of dawn, stands a new soul, a Gemini who knows how to trust, how to stay silent, and how to let things unfold in their divine rhythm. Rebirth doesn't arrive with a thunderclap or a blinding flash. It comes quietly in the realization that you no longer need to fight life to be loved. It comes when you can smile, even with scars still healing. When betrayal no longer feels like darkness, but a lantern showing you the path of truth. The old chapter doesn't close with a slam. It closes with peace. You don't need to run anymore. Abundance is no longer a chase, it's a homecoming. It finds you softly, like breath, because you no longer cling, no longer fear, no longer force. You begin to see that everything which once made you cry was really a baptism for your soul. Each person you lost helped you find a piece of yourself. Each silence taught you to hear your heart more clearly. Each trial purified you, peeling away what was never meant to stay. Look at how far you've come, Gemini. From confusion to clarity. From asking, why is this happening to me? To whispering, it's happening so I can grow. You've stopped blaming and started thanking. And in that moment when you can be grateful even for the pain, you've entered the highest stage of your soul, compassion. Because true forgiveness isn't forgetting, it's remembering without trembling. You understand now that everyone, even those who hurt you, is walking their own path through fear. And you, after everything, have learned not to let their darkness dim your light. Your rebirth doesn't need applause. It happens silently, yet it's magnificent. It's when you choose peace over being right, when you stop comparing your journey to anyone else's, when you realize you're not chasing time, you are the flow of it. From here on, everything becomes lighter. Money flows like water finding its natural course. Love appears as a reflection of the purity you now carry. The doors you once knocked on no longer need to open because you have become the doorway itself. And when you stand fully in your own light, the world mirrors it right back. Rebirth doesn't make you someone new, Gemini. It brings you home to who you've always been, pure, truthful, and full of love. A soul no longer ruled by fear, but guided by faith. Know this: you have nothing left to prove to life. Every tear, every effort, every moment you chose to rise has been seen, acknowledged, and blessed by the universe. Now, all the goodness you've given is finding its way back to you, not because you're lucky, but because you're ready. Peace is the reward for those brave enough to grow. And you, Gemini, have walked that entire path. Thank you, brave soul, for daring to walk through your own shadows to reclaim your light. May your mind remain as still as a morning lake, your heart as gentle as the dawn breeze, and may abundance come to you effortlessly, as if it had always belonged to you from the very beginning.